we're building up. It wasn't even on my radar.
Wow.
This guy called me,
Hmm.
Steven. Actually, he saw me at Uncle Vinny's in Jersey, and he goes, "Hey, I was thinking
Yeah.
about maybe you should do a documentary." I'm like, nobody's gonna watch it. Who's gonna watch it? And he goes, "No, I think it would really be good." And I was like, I don't know, man. I still have my doubts about it, you know. Um, but it is pretty cool going through it. I mean, I have a little trouble watching myself from the old days and stuff because I'm totally different now.
Oh yeah.
And you see that I see the transition, and it's all it's pretty wild. I'm starting to like not doubt myself, but readjust because when you see how you started and what you had then and your whole persona then and your whole motivation and the way you do things, it was totally different from now. And it's almost like it's regeneration for me because I feel like I need to get some of that back, some of that old Bob Nelson back, because kind of like stuff creeps in, life creeps in,
It
and kind of
does.
messes things for you a little bit. So you don't have that theatrical drive or the freshness of the material and stuff like that. So yeah,
When you talk about changes like that, I mean, I know you were battling cancer just 4 or 5 years ago, so obviously
yeah.
that has to play an impact on where your story is going, not only in life but in this documentary film. Stephen, if you want to elaborate on that, how much do you touch on his cancer?
A good amount actually, and that was when I met Bob. The initial interaction was I'm in production. My background is as a narrative filmmaker, so I've produced and directed narrative films.
Right.
There's a role that a friend of mine and I wrote for Bob years ago. So I go see him in Uncle Vinny's, and Bob is there after the show, and he's interacting with the crowd. And my wife and I were in no rush to leave. I said, I'm just going to see if I can corner him and give him a Hollywood pitch and introduce myself and say hi.
Right.
I'm a producer, but a real one. And yeah. So it actually started with a role in a film that we're working on putting the financing together. And then as I started to talk to Bob, we had a couple of Zooms and we talked about that role, and I heard his story. That's when the light bulb went off. Because initially it was, from outside looking in, he had disappeared for a while. So
Right.
What was that journey? Once I found out about the journey, that's when I said, "Oh, I think there's something more here." And then I pitched that out to Bob, and Bob, as he said, was skeptical and stuff. But not only does it go into his personal journey, but I think, and Bob will elaborate on this, the key that I thought about was incorporating the characters, making it a story told by Bob, by Jiffy, and two
Epi
other.
Epperman and the rest of the crew. Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly. For me, that was the hook, and I think that became the hook for Bob.
Yeah, it's still gelling, but I'm getting more excited. I go through uh, times when like Jiffy Jeff will be my favorite character. Then it'll be we'll be stuck in sin, and it'll go to Epi
Hmm.
or something else. And what's happening now is that I'm really starting to see what Stephen was seeing, that Epi is almost like Bob. It's like
Interesting.
they're totally separate in my head.
Right.
But my wife has always been telling me you're really Epi. You're more Epi than you are Bob.
And it really
And
doesn't dawn on you because when you're going into character, I would imagine you're just kind of going, well, this is my zone. This is a character I've created. But then you kind of reflect back and go, wait a minute. I really did create this based on myself and didn't even realize it.
yeah, yeah,
Wild.
yeah, and it's becoming quite a journey. And I'm looking. When Stephen first, I was like, I don't have any footage. I don't have any pictures, and I'm finding so much stuff that I have that I didn't realize that I had. I mean, I'm totally overwhelmed with it, and then I end up going through the pictures, and I stop and I have to stare at this and go, wow, this was a moment, and it could like go on forever. this
Right.
stupid thing. At first I thought there's not enough. There's not enough there for anybody to be interested in. But now, I mean, it could go so deep and go so many different ways. It shocks me, you know. And one of the things that what I was struggling with lately has been watching the what Steven's coming up with, because he's switching it around. He's an artist, so he's like, it's a constantly moving picture. I mean, it's you feel like for the first time I saw it and the second time I saw it, two different things. There's like I don't know what he's doing, but there's like a different flow and a different, and it's hard to for me to comprehend. Anyway, but one of the things, I'm glitching all over. One of the things that was having a hard time with is watching myself back in the day when I would curse, you know, and it goes right through me like I'm being stabbed.
Ouch.
You know,
that can't be easy. I mean, and you're not somebody that, I mean, look, when we saw the Young Comedian special and when you're doing your duck routine, there are some cursing going on, but it's not like over the top, and it's not like something that you're leaning on like every 5 seconds you're dropping an F-bomb. So it's not really the basis of what you do, but I can only imagine as you're looking at this and kind of going, did I really need to curse now? Or does that come to your mind basically?
Oh yeah, it's more of like I'm horrified because I don't curse at all anymore.
Right.
And I feel like I want to erase it, but at the same time, I'm trying to figure out why I did that so much. And it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't because it made anything more funny.
Right.
I mean, it might make a character look a little bit more realistic because if you want to be a guy from Brooklyn and he's gonna curse a little bit.
Yeah, it's like your football routine. Hey, yo, Tony Cappuccino, Brooklyn College, and oh fuck,
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So I get all anxious and full of anxiety. It's funny because one of the things that happened to me was because I became a Christian too in '92.
Okay.
I mean, I was always a Christian, but I mean, I started to realize that my purpose here on Earth is to really make people laugh, and so it's like a ministry almost,
Okay.
And it's like I'm not over the top religious, but I know that I'm here for a purpose, and I know it's to make people laugh. But at the same time, I want people to see me as an example, especially kids, because that's when I had all my troubles and all my hardship was when I was a kid. And I remember when I first became a Christian, I had just done a movie with Nora Ephron called "This Is My Life," and then she did another movie.
Very cute movie, yeah.
Yeah, and then she did another movie called I forget what it was called, but they wanted me to play a. They wanted me to play a detective. Cop, right, a detective, and he wanted me to curse. Mm-hmm. He said, "What this guy's gonna be? He curses a lot, and he hangs out at strip clubs, and he's just a pig, And I'm thinking, that's not going to be good for my image. And they're going, no, it's a movie. It's not going to be you. It's going to be you. You're going to be playing a character. And at the time, I was having trouble with issues with my wife and not, having lustful thoughts about girls. And I realized that this is not good for me, So I said, well, can I make it so the guy doesn't curse? Let's make it so that everybody in the movie curses except for me, and I get offended by it. And they go, no, we're not going to change the script. I said, well, and they said, just do it. I said, well, are you going to shoot it in a strip club? I go. They go, yeah, we're going to, but it's not real. I said, is it a real strip club? Yeah, could it be naked people? Yeah. I said, well, I can't do that.
Stephen,
personally, and because I want people to see what I'm doing.
Stephen, I want to take it from your filmmaker's perspective. As you're finding out this information for the first time, and you're kind of shooting the documentary as you're getting into this. How do you react, and how do you play it out, so to speak, to try to bring out these facts about Bob and really get the story out there that this is such an important part of who he is?
Yeah, well, that's the quick learning curve between a narrative and a documentary. With a narrative, you write the script.
Right.
You've got your blueprint, and that's what you go and make, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
With doc, it's learning as you go. So as we did our first interview with Bob, a lot of stuff came out. I go back, I make notes. And then as we interview other people, depending on who it is,
mm-hmm.
I can then start asking questions about this or that. And that's how I realized when it initially started. I figured it would be a doc that went in a particular direction, that it would be more directly epi,
Right.
telling more of the story.
Mm-hmm.
As shot, it became clearer that the other aspect of the story of Bob's faith, of his cancer, the cancer I was aware of, but Bob's faith became that much more prevalent. And as I started to digest it, I felt that that would be much more connecting to fans and to other people, that personal. And that's the response I got. You know, I've showed it to several filmmaker friends of mine, and the younger who are not aware of Bob, you know, as fans because they're in their 20s or whatever,
Sure,
or older, the reactions are different as far as the comedy goes, but everybody's like, it's emotional. Everybody's connecting to it because of his personal story, because of his faith, because people can connect to a person's, you know, belief. So it evolved as it went. And then the big evolve, you know, once Bob said he's got a bunch of his friends and pastors that he came up with, you know, do you want to do anything with that? I'm like, yes.
there you go.
We interviewed all those guys and stuff, and it's fantastic. It's taken it into a whole new direction.
Which makes it cool because coming down to the Jersey Shore, and we're going to post a photo right now. Ming, if you can put up the banner for the Smart Castle Cinemas, it'll be February the 6th where Bob is coming to town. We'll also get a chance to look at Finding Bob Nelson, where it is right now. This may not be the final cut, but at least you get an idea of where the film is right now. And Bob's also going to be doing this stand-up, so you get 2 for 1, a $20 ticket price. You're going to get a lot for your money. Go to the Smart Castle Cinemas website. You can purchase your tickets in advance, and we look forward to seeing you out there on February 6th so you can meet Bob Nelson himself, see a little bit of the documentary, and have a little bit of fun, and also, you know, get educated on the story of Bob and everything that has been happening. And I'm already learning a lot more than I never thought I ever knew about you, Bob. So I think already, and Stephen, now I totally understand from your perspective to come into this and kind of go, like you said, you thought you're going one direction, now you're going in another direction. And I think that's sort of the beauty, I would think, of documentary filmmaking, when you're kind of thrown a curveball and you go, wow, okay, how do I present this and present it in a way that is fitting to Bob as the artist, to the audience who's going to watch it, and have people talk about it. And obviously here I am already just kind of going, wow. So there's definitely something here that when the finished product comes out, I hope you all are going to feel really good about it, because it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, no, exactly. Going into, I mean, there are a lot of things in the documentary, editing choices, stylistic stuff that was there from the inception.
Right.
You know, I knew I was going to cut, like Bob was saying before, how it goes in different directions. I knew I was going to juxtapose Bob from the past and Bob from the present. So I knew that was going to be a narrative aspect of it. I knew Epi was going to be also telling aspects of certain stories. I just didn't think the faith aspect was going to be as important until I started to tell the story. And that's how that evolved and stuff. And it's just made it much more well-rounded and much more interesting as far as I can tell.
Look forward to seeing it myself. Go ahead, please, Bob.
Going for, you know, when you go through, I was thinking about this today. I was walking my dog and I was thinking about, you know, if I ever get a chance to talk to some of these guys who've been doing comedy for a long time, to ask them about their journey and if there was a perspective change or a feeling where they did, you know, how they felt then, how they felt in the middle, and how they feel now.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that get you, you know, like having that when I was hot in the 80s, and then you cool off, and then it becomes a whole different thing. It's not as, I mean, you still keep your fans, and I have some great, beautiful, wonderful fans.
Right.
But you know the heat's not on you, and and then you know you're getting older, and then the younger audience doesn't even know who you are, and then you go through cancer and stuff like that, and you start to realize that this whole thing there must be a reason for it, you know. And I'm at the point now where I would worry, you know, when I was a comic and I would be opening for Rodney and trying to do movies, like when I didn't want to I didn't want to be the cursing
Right.
guy. I'm like, what if, you know, I would say like, what if this happens and I don't have a good relationship with God and but I have a good relationship with Hollywood. And you just start to struggle with that, and it keeps saying what if. And I finally come to the conclusion that, you know, because I do rely on God and I do believe in that and the integrity and just having a good solid morals.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's no longer what if this happens or what it's even if it happens, because God's going to get you through
Right.
it. You know, get you through the cancer, get you through the ups and downs in the business, and you know, and that's really the one thing that's been my anchor, and it's really helping me. You know, keep my marriage together,
Mm-hmm.
kept my focus together, and that's much more important to go through life peaceful than to be, you know, all over the place.
When you talk about those moments where you, like you said, going from where you were, where there is a peak, and suddenly
Yeah.
it goes down. Where does Branson, Missouri come into play? Was that helpful at that point when you took a few years to go down there and maybe feel more involved? Because I know that community and I know the entertainment that was going on down there, and it's still
Yeah.
basically, it leans country, it leans, you know, a positive faith. I mean, you look at the artists that are playing there now. You talk about Lone Star, you talk about Sarah Evans, the Beach Boys will come down there. So there is a certain vibe that Branson, Missouri brings. And did that help you feel like, okay, I'm in a place where I can really feel good and feel more myself than I have in a long time?
It's what I expected. It's what I was told by my manager. But when you go there, it's just like Hollywood in a way.
Wow.
And, you know, I found out that just because they say they're Christian, that doesn't mean they are Christian. So it was a learning experience. There are many layers to what I've learned about people and agendas and, you know, who a Christian is and who a Christian is.
Right.
It's like two different people, you know. I mean, it was quite a learning experience. I really wanted it to work, but you know, I was a New Yorker guy and I was a Yankee to them.
Yeah.
And then when I went down to Pigeon Forge, it was the same thing. You know, I'm from New York, but I bleed the same. And
Yeah.
you know, I know that they were laughing at what I did, but they have this in Branson. I felt like it was like the old guard was there, and it was like the good old boy network.
Oh.
Yeah. And a lot of these people who claim to be Christian are nothing like Christian.
Oh, it's funny because I wasn't sure if it was the same time, because I do remember when you did the Young Comedian Special, Jakob Smirnoff was with you, and Jakob wound up in Branson. Were you guys there at the same time, any chance? And if you were, did he give you any advice? Did he try to be, you know, at least a little helpful to say, hey, by the way, you may want to know this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Yakov is a wonderful. I shouldn't have portrayed it the way I did. There were wonderful, wonderful people down there, and there's some
course.
really good folk. But the people who run everything, and the people who it always seems to be that the people who are in the underbelly are the ones who have all the control, and the people who are really nice are just doing their ministry and making people laugh or making people, you know, singing for them because they love it.
Right.
Yakov is a wonderful guy. He went out there when it was a boom. There was a boom.
Yeah, I do remember the
know.
boom, and I mean that involved, for people who don't know, Yakov, and involved the Osmond brothers, and involved even Andy Williams, who was so instrumental in making Branson, Missouri, have the boom that it had many years ago.
And it was also a lot of the World War II veterans.
That's true.
So
very true.
a lot of the Patsy Cline shows and all the country guys, they were huge.
Yeah.
But that as they die off, I mean, unfortunately, they pass on. The audience does, and now they've got you know, the Vietnam veterans, and they're more into like Woodstock shows and stuff like that. So it's a different audience. So I don't know if Branson has the ability to switch off into go with the flow of the retirement community, because that's what I really think Branson is. It's like, you know, old folk going somewhere to remember what it's like in the good old days. Just like they will in now. There's going to be the Beyonce shows. I don't know. You know, I don't know.
Again,
and I really enjoyed it because, you know, I was doing family shows and I was able to make kids laugh and everything. And
right.
I've gotten away from that a little bit, and I've got to bring that back.
Stephen, yeah, I was about that. I was coming back to you as a filmmaker, and you're finding out about his experience in Branson. How do you incorporate that?
Yeah, the aspect of when Bob says this in the doc about just because they're Christian doesn't mean they're Christian. I find that from a storytelling aspect very interesting and honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's just straightforward and honest. Just because you practice a particular faith, yes, morality and decency and the almighty dollar sometimes just takes people. Yeah. So it's unfortunate that it happened, but it was great that Bob was just very frank and very open about, I went down there and this is what happened. And and then I went to another place and then this is what happened. And now I, back home, and that again, those stories, I believe, are things that people connect with because people can relate to maybe their own failings, successes, and setbacks and stuff.
Well said. Well said. Well said.
You hear about big stars who go to who are huge in Hollywood, and then towards the end of their life, they go, and this whole thing is a sham. Some of them are just like this.
Bob, you make a great point because I think you're starting to see that more and more as some of these stars are getting older. You see it happening probably in the last 3 or 4 years a lot more than it ever has. I think there is that sort of, well, I'm getting older. I'm not working as much. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to, here it is. Here's the real belly of the beast. You're about to hear about it. And I don't care if I don't get another role ever again. I'm just like, I got to get this out. And I guess that's what happens. People just have, for lack of a better term, shoved it down so much that it has to come out because you've kept it down for like decades, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It's not. When you're an artist, it's not supposed to feel like a job. It's not supposed to be a job. You got to be true to yourself and true to the honest you.
Yes.
And when the money and you have all these people in your ear and telling you got to do this, you got to do that. You're not that artist anymore. Other people are painting on your painting.
Mm-hmm.
One of the hardest things about LA was if I came up with a concept, they go, "That's a great idea for a show," and then I go out there and they're going, and then the producers and the directors, what I said, what if we do this and what do we do that? How about if we put this in? They're going, I don't really, I'm not digging it, but then you want to make the money and then you do it, and it's not as good as you thought that you see in your mind, and it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard to be honest when your whole livelihood is making people happy.
It's a very good point. It's a very, very good point.
Yeah. And I just like my favorite place, like last Friday night, the other night, I was in a small little bar called the Red Zone. They're known for their wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I performed on the floor with a semicircle of people, and it was one of the funnest, best shows I ever had. People saying, "You got a standing ovation." I'm like, "Oh, well, it's a wing joint," but it was so real and so. I mean, people coming up to me and hugging me and saying, that was really cool. With the things you were saying about this and that, because I'll often stop in the middle of my show and just start talking about stuff that I went through or. Did you ever go through this? And it becomes honest, and then it stops getting funny, and then I got to go back to my act. But they enjoy that,
right? So when you're doing the act now, here we are in 2026. As you're doing the act today, it's sort of a hybrid then of, okay, people are going to come out, they're going to want to see Epi Epperman, they want to see Jiffy Jeff do his thing.
Well, right. Yeah.
So you still incorporate part of the old, but you're also trying to incorporate where you are today, how you make it work today, and your basically viewpoint of how you see things and trying to find the comedic angle with it.
Yeah, I have to say I really have some incredible compassion and empathy for my audiences now because I know why they're there.
Yeah.
I know that they need to laugh and they need to have fun time. And when you got all these comedians going up there and bringing up all the political stuff or the crazy stuff that's going on in the news, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to be writing about it. They want to get away from that. It's supposed to be a sanctuary from that.
Right.
And I try to do that for them. And that's why I love the audience to be able to, get that stress off their back. Because that's what they're doing. I mean, some of the best audiences in the business are like people who commute. the blue collar people,
Yeah.
because they work so hard. They do 40 plus hours a week, and they just want to let loose. And if I could make them laugh and do it wholesomely and not put any garbage in there, that people are going to get, they're drinking enough. They don't need to have any psychological damage done by talking about, sexual stuff that's just way over the top. That doesn't help their anxiety. It doesn't help them become more stable.
Right, but I'll take it one step further. For somebody like you, you're not going to feel comfortable doing that. And if you're going to come across uncomfortable, then nobody's going to be comfortable in the room. And how do you supposed to let out laughter if nobody's feeling comfortable? So it is about the vibe that you're creating. And you got to be comfortable in that vibe.
Oh, yeah. And my audience comes to my show because they want to see a clean show. They don't want to have to look at their wife and go, I didn't think he was going to say that, sweetheart. And the wife was looking at him going, it's disgusting. So I tell I never ever tell a comic what to do on stage. I don't censor them, but I say, listen to me. Try as best you can to work clean, because not for my sake, but for the audience who's here to see this. I mean, you people might get upset, and I don't want to upset them. You're not going to have a problem with me, but you may have a problem with Grandma who's sitting there, and you're talking about something that's just horrific that she wouldn't even think that she would hear at a comedy club. Comedy.
Right. Bobby, you were saying about certain comics, and a couple of them actually chimed in on my Facebook feed when we were promoting this podcast tonight. Good example, a Jersey comedian, Gene Tallarico, chiming in. Performed with Bob many times over the years. Awesome guy, always treated me well. Right there. That says a lot. Comedian Ryan Marr, who's done a lot of touring around New Jersey and other places. Great guy. Please tell him I say hello. I mean, when you're getting that from people who've been your openers, that says a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, both those guys are great. Ryan's a character.
Oh God, Ryan still to this day does the best Jesse Ventura impression I have ever heard. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's good. He's good at the social media. He's good at getting out there, and he's a go-getter.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, he's been on my podcast. I mean, he's hilarious. Yeah, they both really beat the pavement and really know how to get the audience and bring them to their credit. They're both really good at what they do. Absolutely.
I wish I had that.
You may have to hire one of them, I'm telling you. Steven, you need any help?
But you're getting better with the social media stuff now. You're starting to.
I'm a little bit on fire now. I'm starting to take that course. You see it all over the place. I mean, everybody's going, you don't have to do the course of but something. I need somebody to teach me. I'm like, I used to, write with pencils. I had a guy come up to me yesterday. Remember when we were paste up artists? There was no electronics. I was a paste up artist. Ads for the phone book on with glue.
I will say this. He has been modern in some levels. He's done messages from Cameo. I'm going to take 30 seconds and play this, so bear with me. This is somebody, Liz Cochran is out in Las Vegas, was nice enough to give me this little 30-second clip of what Jiffy Jeff would do if you were to get him on Cameo. Watch this.
Hello, how you doing? Hi, hello there. Hello. Oh, he hung up. How you doing? My name is Jiffy Jeff Jaworski. I'm a professional fighter. I had 6 professional fights, of which I lost 11. But that's all behind me now. Oh, somebody took it. Anyway, I
My favorite line in that. I have fought 6 professional times. I've lost the
Yeah, the cameos are fun. I get a lot of. Most of them lately have been. Please encourage my uncle. He's going through cancer. He's a big fan. He heard you went through cancer,
Sure.
and I just talked to him about what and I encourage him through my character, and I try to make jokes about it, but at the same time throw in a couple of tips here and there, and it's nice. It's nice to have that.
I'm glad you're enjoying that. Not you hear stories. Not everybody enjoys doing the cameo thing, but you actually sound like you're actually, when you do it, you're like going, you know what? I can do it, and I can enjoy it. Like you said, you can get a message out there for somebody who's trying to get through cancer. That's got to make you feel good to be like, hey, they look at me as somebody who has managed to survive it. Then I want to be of as much help as possible.
Yeah, and I try to. I do some of my cameos aren't like 30 seconds. Like that cameo didn't even get going.
Well, that was. I just wanted to give a snippet because that was actually 6.5 minutes long. To your credit, yeah.
I mean, I did one that was 14 minutes long, and I can't remember why it was 14 minutes long, and I kept apologizing, and I told them, I said, I could cut it down for you if you want. They're like, no, because I get into it, and the more information they give me, the more I can play with.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
And they'll say, he really likes the sound of chalk on a chalkboard. So it's like you just incorporate that stuff, and it's great because most of the people, older people who have seen me from years ago, and
right,
either they're struggling with something or they just want a good memory of the character that they did, or so it's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat thing. Put a lot of effort into it. It takes me at least 3 days to really think it out and do it. Most of these guys just go on there for 30 seconds. Hey, it's me. How you doing? Happy birthday. See you later.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic that you put the effort into it, and I think fans, without a doubt, will appreciate that when they get that.
That's all it really. I don't get anybody else but fans.
Yeah, amen to that. Very happy to have comedian Bob Nelson and filmmaker Stephen James here on the A Game. Couple things before I get into the random shot segment of all this. Bob, there is one thing I do want to bring up because it's something as a fan I was always curious about when you did the duck routine. Now, without a doubt, the duck was a take on the Tom and Jerry duck. It had to be.
It was, almost. It was Tom and Jerry, but it was more. Remember Yankee Doodle?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yankee Doodle was the little bird,
mm-hmm.
and then Chopper was was his friend, the big bulldog.
Yes,
and it was always a cat chasing Yankee Doodle.
Yeah,
and so it was like basically Tom and Jerry, just the same thing. Yeah.
So that was
the Roadrunner, and
Yeah, no, you can definitely get the Roadrunner in the routine without a doubt. But it's like anybody who grew up with those cartoons can see where this is going, and it is sort of like, you're the hunter, aka Wile E. Coyote. I can't get this damn bird. What the hell?
Right.
But how did you get the impression down? Because that's not an easy impression to get down. I mean, I would imagine it would hurt after a while in the throat.
No, it's done on the side of my cheek right here.
Really?
It gets more and more difficult as time goes on. See, I have to be prepared to do it.
So it's almost like you really have to warm up for it. So if you're like doing a stand-up,
talking like it for a lot. I have to talk like a duck for a lot before I do my show. If I'm going to do the duck, because I got to warm it up and figure out what's happening with the air pressure and the mouth and. It was amazing how that bit came about, because a lot of my stuff in the beginning was improv.
Was the football thing? Was that a total improv the first time you did it? Because when you think about how did he come up, and some of them you're just kind of going, oh man, of course, right on. I mean, it's like it's right there, and you just can't help but go as a football fan. This is freaking hilarious. Oh my God. It just kind of like it grew. I had a couple of characters, then another character came. It's the same thing with the duck. What happened with the duck was I would do a lot of sound effects, and I used to work in this club where there was a pitcher that would constantly slide, and I used to pretend that there was a safe up back there, and I used to open the safe, and I would make a bird noise flying away when I opened the safe, and then one day I caught it, and then I would shoot it right away, and I'd kill it the first shot, and then move on to the next bit. And one night a guy says to me, "You missed." I said, "Oh, I missed." And then the bird flew again, and then I said, well, and I got to do a bigger gun, and then it just kind of evolved. And then I finally said, I caught him, and then you catch him, and then I added the voice. Yeah, but I love you. Yeah.
Expanded. Yeah. The whole thing just expanded and became a routine,
So you really didn't expect this thing to, in a sense, take off the way it did. Let's put it that way.
No, it's definitely, that's why I feel like it's a gift that God gave me.
Yeah.
And it's from watching cartoons too.
Sure.
I mean, all that input created that recipe for my comedy.
Right.
So this guy, like the football players.
Yeah.
And then duck, and then I had all my routines pretty much have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
and it sometimes it grows like Jiffy Jeff and then all the stupid jokes, and it gets to the point where you gotta stop. You can't keep going.
Yeah, I mean, but,
I have so many jokes that Jiffy Jeff used to do that I don't do anymore because I moved to put up something else in there.
well, and that's got to be the interesting part of trying to do comedy now. When you know it, like we were saying before, there are characters that everybody knows of you that they want to see. They want to see Jiffy Jeff. They want to see Epi Epperman. They want to see this, but you also to make it fun for you as well. Not that you're not having fun doing these characters, but you want to modernize it and you want to put more into it and kind of create the thing that brings it all together and goes, this is who I am in 2026, and it's a combination of all these things.
Right. Yeah, it's like writing material for each character now.
Yeah.
Epi has to come up with new stuff, and
right.
got to do new stuff for Jiffy Jeff. Put them in a different situation. Will be this or the football guys. I mean, it's just. The football thing is like that's in cement. People want to see it the way it was,
Well, I can't help it. Number 72. Oh, damn, 27. I mean, come on.
If I miss a character, or if I take one out for whatever reason, time wise.
Yeah, that's all you need is people looking at you and going, Tom. If you don't do that, you're gonna get
exactly. I want him. You want you to do Tom because we call this guy Tom. Everybody's got a nickname.
Steven, is this part of the journey where you just sit there and just smile at it and kind of go, I am very lucky to be doing what I'm doing right now?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I am a fan. I was a fan. I am a fan. I will be a fan. I'm very good also as a filmmaker to compartmentalize.
Right.
And so, like when we've covered Bob at 3 shows now, which I think is also a unique aspect of the documentary, which is what enables us to go from his old shows to new stuff at 3 different venues.
Right.
And I'm watching and I don't laugh. I'm focused on what I'm doing, but every once in a while, I will, if I'm not manning a camera myself or whatever the case is, I just start laughing because now all of a sudden I slip out of my job and now I am taking in the show. And for someone like me, and it may be depending on your age, I'm hearing all at the same time. So even though Bob will change certain things, like with something very, very specific when he does the Brooklyn guy and he pulls the strap, he just oh darn or oh damn.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it goes back to what he was saying, where you were basically, and I'll say it for you, where in the Young Comedian special, it's oh fuck, but in 2026, it's oh damn. I get it, it's understandable. You do what's comfortable, but it's still the character, and we all get the point, with or without the curse.
Right. I mean, it's almost like it's almost not. When you curse today, there isn't really that shock anymore that used to be.
No, that's true. There's no shock value.
Myself say it.
Yeah,
but it just becomes part of their vocabulary. It's not really. But the great thing about Steven too is that he's picking up on these people in the audience. I'm getting a kick out of him going up and finding these. I don't know where he's finding them. People get up and he just starts talking to them, and they're saying stuff about what their experience with me through the years and he's getting that out of him, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." I didn't even tell him about that guy, and he just somehow he found him.
And that's the great thing about documentary films. Once again, we will encourage you to come out. Atlantic Highlands, Smodcastle Cinema. Ming, put the photo up one more time. Finding Bob Nelson. It will be, again, February the 6th. It's a 7:30 start time. You'll get the film, and then Bob will do his stand-up. Get your tickets while you can. We're looking forward to having a sold-out crowd in Atlantic Highlands for Kevin Smith's Theater, Smodcastle Cinema. Up to random shots, I got a few questions. This is where I've done a little stalking of social media, also taking a little bit of Bob's career and trying to incorporate this in a way that maybe he can play along with me. But I'm going to start with one question. True or false? Did you really go to school and in the same grade as Alec Baldwin?
Same school.
Wow.
Alec and I graduated in 1976 at Burner High School in Massapequa, Long Island.
Did your paths cross in high school at all?
Oh yeah. He was on the football team. I was on the football team. He was more of how they have the jocks.
Yeah.
The jocks and the outcasts. I was more of I was the clown. I went through high school thinking I was Jerry Lewis. So I was always that's what I would do. I'd hang myself on a fence and do stupid things. And so we knew each other. we were friends and everything. We still are friends.
Wow.
But he was a whole different animal, you know.
Yeah.
He got all the girls. I got all. What I did was I hung out with all the really handsome guys and got to meet the girls' parents, and I would hang out with the girls' parents. Well, my friends went out with the girls. So I got a family, and they got the girl.
Random shots with Bob Nelson. I remember you did a baseball routine back in the day, and I remember you talking about it. The pitcher was so fat, and every time I think of that routine, I think of Bartolo Colon with the New York Mets. So, if you were to take that old baseball routine and apply it to the New York Mets, as a Mets fan, how would you see that routine potentially going?
Are you talking about Epi Epperman doing the baseball thing?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I could probably. Epi could be their manager.
He could.
Just enjoy yourself, fellas. Don't worry about if we win or lose. It doesn't matter. The owner doesn't care. Where am I? Yeah, Epi. Every night when I perform, I bring my glove and my ball and my hat, and I haven't, because I have to bring it back. That routine, I did that baseball bit maybe for 2 years straight, I want to say, and then all of a sudden I stopped, and then I forgot it, and then when I got cancer, I forgot it even more. But and when I see what I did on video, I'm going, no, there was more to that, because my live performance and video performances are always different,
right?
They when they edit it or I don't do it properly. I hate watching myself on videos. It's a real. I can't watch the stuff that Steve is doing unless I'm sitting with my wife, so she can calm me down. Going, it's all right. It's all right. I don't know what it is. I'm like, I could have done that better. Oh, I look like an idiot. Or,
It's funny because I look at, just as a fan of the New York Mets and knowing what they've been through the last year, of how they underachieved and what's been going on in the offseason. And I remember watching your bit of Epi Epperman doing baseball, and I'm like going, how does he not just play this off as the manager? Like you said, the manager of the New York Mets.
I could be the manager.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. The pitcher and the catchers are not doing well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the catcher pitch. I'm going to let the pitcher catch. But one time, the good thing is, if the pitcher can't catch, the catcher can still pitch because he knows all the signs.
This is true.
He could just shoot himself the signs before he pitches it. The thing about being a catcher is that your knees go after a while because you're always bending down. I'm thinking you should just dig a hole behind for home plate, and then let him stand in the hole, and then he could stand up and catch the ball. And they could call that could be the real dugout.
Oh man.
So, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hey, look, man, I put you on the spot. You responded. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I want to put you on the spot for one more thing as we get ready to wrap up. And I look at the fact that boxing now has celebrities boxing each other. If Jiffy Jeff were actually going to step in the damn ring again, what celebrity does Jiffy Jeff want to square off against?
Let's see. I'm thinking, okay, so I don't want to fight like Sylvester Stallone. Obviously, I don't want to fight that guy because he could fight the other guy. What's the other guy?
De Niro.
The cop, De Niro.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fight him, even though he's littler than me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of who's the girl who sings? I would fight her. Taylor Swift.
Okay.
She's pretty tall. Maybe I shouldn't fight her.
No. Don't forget, her fiance plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. You pissed?
Right.
Yeah.
Dangerous. That's right. I think you know what I'll do? Ariana Grande. She looks like I could take her. She's a little tiny little thing, and she's very skinny. I could definitely beat her. Although my first loss when I first started fighting was to a girl. So I don't know. Maybe a shadow. I'll shadow box the shadow of George Clooney.
I like that. There we go. And then Clooney's shadow knocks you out.
I will fight George Clooney's shadow. I can't lose.
Yeah. For a man who's never won, he's due for a win. There you go.
If I hit the wall, I'm going to break my head. Wait a second. Let me think about this.
I'm happy to give Stephen. I'm enhancing his routine a little bit with some ideas. I think I could be wrong.
I think I'm going to write that down. The shadow boxing.
Shadow boxing.
I could beat his shadow. I'm a shadow boxer. I could beat Anybody, I could. Mike Tyson, I could beat his shadow. You kidding me?
I have influenced the comedian.
And I would knock him out immediately. Just shut the light off.
There you go.
He's done.
Winner by Lights Out, Jiffy Jeff. Jeff.
That's how you beat a shadow boxer. Lights out.
I love it. One more time, let's put it up here so this way you can get your tickets. Get them in advance because on February 6th, I would not be surprised if the show is sold out. Documentary film is Finding Bob Nelson. This is what we'll call the rough cut. Stephen, I think that's the appropriate way to put it. It's still not done, but you're going to get what has been completed so far in the documentary. You will definitely get to see a lot of things that Bob has already talked about here and a lot more. And then when the film is done, Bob does his stand-up routine, so you're getting a lot for your money when you hit the Smodcastle Theater in Atlantic Highlands. Smodcastle Cinemas, their website, check it out, and get the tickets in advance. Guys, I'm glad we could spend this time, and it's been fascinating to find out a little bit more about the film. And Bob, as a fan from your Young Comedian special, it's great to see you still doing what you do. How many years later? Because a lot of people have fallen off the map, as we know. So the fact that you're still doing it, I think, is a credit to you. So thank you so much for keeping us entertained and keeping us laughing.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Stephen, for being here and helping me.
Oh, absolutely. This is great. Thank you, Robert.
No, my pleasure, Stephen. My pleasure. And Ming, you can take the photo off the middle so this way I can say goodbye. Listen, I'll be back in next week. But again, look forward to seeing everybody at the Smodcastle Cinemas for the Finding Bob Nelson documentary film and stand-up routine. So until then, for Bob Nelson, for Stephen James, I'm Rob Akampora. That's a wrap for the A-Game. We'll see you again next week. Take care of yourselves.